Right, chair, fellow speakers and guests. St. Valentine's Day is not what you think. It's got an awfully bad history, and even the modern day stuff is pretty naff. But if we go back to the beginning, first of all, 14th of February. No. Unfortunately, we had the Julian calendar, and then it went to the Gregorian calendar, and what was the 14th was in fact the 23rd. So the 14th that we're doing should be the 23rd. The 23rd is a bit more important because people like Chaucer put out the message that birds would get their mates and go off and nest on St. Valentine's Day to get a bit of romantic stuff in there, but no, they were out to see 1423. So 14 is a bit early for them to get out now and start chatting up the locals. Now, if we want to go to how it started, this is weird. Valentine is not an uncommon name in the Roman Empire. There are at least 2 St. Valentines, probably more. They also think possibly that the 2 were in fact joined together to form one St. Valentine. They're not really sure. But what they do know is that the Lupercalian festivals are all around that point. It's where people are getting ready to go off and mate, being all romantic and looking forward to rumpy-pumpy and things. So that's what it's about. They had it off to a fine art. How do you get boys and girls together, adolescents together? You get a box and you put all the girls' names in the box, and then the boys come up and take a name out. That girl is with them for the rest of the festival. They might get married, or they may not, but that's how it's done. So you have these couples all going off, having fun. Catholic Church was not impressed. When they came along, they said, "You can't do this. It's just not on." And it sort of stopped. But the other churches also got involved, but I'll be on that a bit later. What happened is the situation that St. Valentine, the one we think is the actual one, was a priest or a bishop, one of the 2. He was chucked into jail because he was stupid enough to get on the wrong side of the emperor. What he did, the emperor pushed out this big decree: you will not go to war if you're married, because you'll be a bloody useless soldier, you'll be thinking about home, you'll be thinking about the children, you'll be a rubbish soldier. Only single men can go to war. What did he do? Marry all these blokes off so that they didn't have to go to war. Emperor got very upset and chucked him into jail. Now, when he was in jail, they said to him, "You're a Christian, you're one of the top guys. She's blind, cure her." That was the jailer, so his daughter. So he cured her blindness, just cured it. And everybody converted to Christianity, obviously, around there, because they've seen a miracle. Again, that made the emperor even more annoyed, because he'd asked him to convert to Christianity as well. Now this guy had no idea about business, did he? So they decided to execute him, and they executed him. And there are bits of St. Valentine all over Europe. Dublin's got a great one. They've got most of the skull with a floral wreath around the top of it. And then all the other bits of bones are everywhere. If you put them all together, I reckon you get at least 2 or 3 bodies, because there's so many of them. So that is really how it all started, back in the Dark Ages. Now, if we move forward a little bit, Eastern Orthodox, which is the sort of Greek Orthodox Church, Western Orthodox, which is the sort of Russian Church, they do everything different. You're probably aware that they celebrate Christmas in January. Yeah, well, Valentine's Day is celebrated in July. Both of them have it in July. So that was a bit strange when you're going into the Orthodox areas, things all change. If we, in fact, I think it's the Western Orthodox, the Russian, they're still using the wrong calendar. Yeah, so I mean, go there, you know, just right mess. Right, let's have a look a bit forward, go forward a little bit, because Chaucer and Co were the next bunch. Chaucer talked about the birds, but he also wrote an awful lot of rude stuff in the Canterbury Tales and things. And again, the church wasn't over impressed with it. But the idea of giving tokens to your beloved started round about then. You know, they didn't give him cards or anything like that. It was just a token. Could be some flowers, could be fruit, sweetmeats, that kind of thing. So that's where it started off. And it got worse, of course, because when you get into the situation where there's a possibility of making money, oh dear me. Yes. Now, I guess most of you probably know Rowland Hill. Doesn't ring any bells? No. Okay, postmaster brought in the penny black for the post. Right. Now, the great thing about penny post was before it arrived, you had to pay to get your letter, right? So you wouldn't pay if you didn't know it was coming from. Penny post, you had no idea it was coming from, so you could stick rude messages in to your lover and sort of send all these rude stuff out, and nobody would know, because they were in these sealed envelopes. Now, question, this is a nice question for you. How much money do you think is spent in the UK on Valentine's Day?
Millions. Tens of millions.
Anyone?
Several million just on Waitrose roses.
Yeah. 1.3 billion pounds. That's in the UK. The Americans are a bit better. They're about 200 million, so they don't seem to be as good as it sometimes. But all over Europe, well, and we've got Australia, we've got America, we've got India, all sorts of places do Valentine's. Big problem. Pakistan, it is illegal. You know, it's Western corruption. You're trying to seduce people. So they banned it. Iran, not only have they banned it, you get arrested if you've got red roses in your shop.
Really?
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
But the rest of the year?
Oh, well, probably be okay then, but it's this Valentine's bit. What they're saying is that in Iran and places like that, they've eased up a lot on the fact that the sexes are getting closer together, and that's what they've done. They've stopped it because they could see that they were getting a bit too close. So I think the Indians are just as bad, the Hindus, they banned it. So we, Western countries, you know, Europe and the rest of us, we're having a great time. It's one way that you can get access to females sometimes, other than social media. You know, that's moved on. And so it's, for us males, it's quite useful. And I think the girls also would find it quite useful if they're a bit shy. But I don't know many shy girls. They tend to be a bit affirmative these days. So anyway, I will leave you with Valentine's Day next month. And just remember what it's all about. Love.